As much as things change, they stay the same in relationship to the police abuse and murder of black people. You know, that's what it shows you that, and not just black people, poor people in general. You know, because never in the history of this country has a policeman ever been convicted or tried of a crime and did serious time for killing a black person, a brown person, white person, yellow person, anybody. You know, this never has happened. You know, in the history of this country.
It's to create and instill fear. Don't you dare go up against us. If you do, we'll beat the stuff out of you. But instead of fear, people should be angry. If we can get that spirit back, that spirit of collectivity, that spirit of organizing and working together against a common enemy and understanding that we do have a common enemy, and it sits right up there on Capitol Hill. The capitalist system, not the individuals.
Huey and Bobby had asked me to do this drawing of a pig, which I did on 4 hoofs initially, and then I wanted to put the badge number of the pig who was intimidating, harassing, and abusing his rights as a police officer in the community each week. So that's how that initially came about. And then from my evaluation of the pig drawing I did do, I said, why don't I stand up on 2 hoofs and keep the snort, the tail, and all that, and put a badge on it, and then it took on a life of its own. In this culture, a pig was a low-natured kind of animal that wallowed in the filth and the slime, and you know what I mean, totally just degrading kind of animal. Huey and them initially themselves thought it was a legitimate stance, because, and I agree with like many others who became a part of the Black Panther Party because of the police abuse. You used to see it on the electronic media, the riots and rebellions that took all across the country because of police abuse. Standing up to that was a legitimate act that took place all over the country. It definitely made an impact in relationship to that people weren't going to just stand around anymore, and that there were going to be some form of education, enlightenment about these issues, and that the community were showing that the community was outraged around these issues. You have to understand that the climate and the times, you're talking about the same policemen who were abusing and brutalizing and murdering civil rights marchers in the South were the same ones being recruited, and the same attitude of those being recruited into the police departments in the North. Right here in the Bay Area, you know, you had the Klan marches in the East Bay in the 30s and the 40s. You know, it's been documented. You know, in Oakland there were Klan in the surrounding areas, and they burned the crosses, all those things. So, you know, so that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with that climate.
From what I learned about it, it was the police who initiated, who instigated the erratic and spontaneous trashing of stores and some of the violence that went down. You know, people were enraged and spontaneously enraged by the actions of the police, because it had been a peaceful march, and people, from what I learned, people were grabbed, and you know, one was caught on camera. I saw it myself. It was brutalized, and you know, they just, you know, how they run amok, and they doing what they do a lot. So hundreds of people were arrested that night and charged with all kinds of charges that were later dropped. Some were felonies, but were later dropped. J.R., who writes for the Bayview and San Francisco Bayview, and is a leader in the POCC, the Prisoners of Conscience Committee, had his camera out there and was targeted because he's been in the forefront of exposing police brutality. So he was jacked up and imprisoned and is still facing felony charges. And as far as I know, to date he hasn't gotten his camera back. So they want to quash those pictures, no doubt, and they want to quash JR, I'm sure. But I think we need to be careful about using riot when it's really rebellion and legitimate rebellion, because it's one thing to just, I mean, a riot is to me is these football game kinds of riots that are just silly, you know, over silliness and people just going nuts and drinking too much and acting a fool. These are rebellions, you know, and everybody was extremely incensed at somebody being blatantly shot in the back, and Messerly being able to turn up in Nevada, just quit his job and go to Nevada. I mean, that would never happen. That never would have happened had it been a reverse situation.
What do you think about the venue being changed to Los Angeles for his trial?
Well, actually, I think it's a kind of a good move. Be careful what you ask for, because LA is more powerful than and has a larger black and brown community, and yeah, and people have been through rogue cops. They've had plenty of trials of rogue cops in LA, and experience with rogue cops and acting a fool, running amok. So yeah, no, I think I think they're going to be sorry they made the move. I think the defense attorneys for Messerly are going to be regret having asked for a change of venue. I think they were probably already regretting it.
Mm-hmm.